Huh? Mother-in-law? The doorbell rang, and I widened my eyes in surprise when I checked the monitor. No wonder, because on the screen was the image of my mother-in-law, who was supposed to be in the hospital. When I called my husband, he blatantly lied, saying,
"I'm visiting my mom at the hospital."
At that point, I realized I'd been lied to by my husband. Unbelievable. Using his own family to deceive people. I'll make him regret making a fool out of me. I teamed up with my mother-in-law and decided to move out. And so, my story to get revenge with my mother-in-law began. My name is Jessica, 29 years old. After graduating from college, I started working for a company and got married at 27. My husband's name is Bob. I met him, who is the same age as me, through my friend Olivia. I happened to encounter Bob when I was having lunch with Olivia. Since Olivia worked at the same company as Bob, she introduced him to me. From there, we exchanged our number, went out to dine together a couple of times, and started dating. After a year of dating, we happily tied the knot. Even after 2 years of marriage, we're still happily married. We're more like friends than lovers, so we say whatever we think, for better or worse, without holding back. As we were having dinner, he teased me a bit by saying,
"Jessica, today's stew. Isn't it a bit bland?"
You think so? I also thought it was a bit bland too when I tasted it.
"Jess, you've been a housewife for 2 years now, but you're still bad at cooking, aren't you?"
Stop it. If you're gonna say things like that, then why don't you cook, Bob?
Sorry. Thanks for cooking always, even though you have your job too. I appreciate it, okay?
I guess I'll forgive you, but next time, take me to that fancy restaurant for dinner, okay?
All right. You're always so upbeat about these things. It's a bit troublesome, you know.
Even though we bicker like this, we never forget to show gratitude towards each other. That's how we roll. We do at times get into arguments, but I still loved Bob. Then one day, I received a text from Bob, who had been working overtime for consecutive days, saying,
"I think I can come home early today."
We hadn't been able to have dinner together for a while. Today seemed like a day we could spend time together. Just as I was about to finish cooking, my phone rang. Hello? The first thing my husband did was apologize in a regretful voice.
"I'm sorry, Jess. I won't be able to come home after all today."
What? But today, for the first time in a while, you said you would come home early.
Well, I thought so too, but I'm far from getting my work done.
I see. I went through all the trouble to make dinner, but I guess it can't be helped.
I'm really sorry. I'll make it up to you, I promise.
Bob apologized over and over again. I can't blame him when he's this sorry. It can't be helped if it's because of work. I took the opportunity to ask him something that had been bothering me for a while. Hey, Bob, I feel like you've been working overtime a lot recently.
Huh, is that so? I feel like it's always been this way since a long time ago.
But you used to do it once a week, right? But lately it's practically every day.
I can't help it, can I? It's not like I want this myself.
My usually calm husband raised his voice in a rare display of anger. He seemed desperate. Something was definitely suspicious. For some reason, that was my intuition. As he hurried to hang up the phone, I held him back and asked him again. Bob, I hate to ask this, but you're really at work, right?
What's with that question? Of course I am. Don't tell me you think I'm cheating.
Why would you think that? I didn't say anything about cheating.
Well, that's because you sound like you're doubting me, Jessica.
My fault. All I did was ask if it's really work.
Anyway, can we drop it now? I still have work to do, so don't bother me.
With that, he abruptly hung up the phone. I couldn't help but sense his reluctance to be probed any further. What's with his attitude? Would someone normally get so angry just by being asked if it's work? Doesn't he have something he wants to hide? Thinking I couldn't get any further over the phone, I decided to wait for him to come home. When he got home a few hours later, he was in a very bad mood. He completely ignored my attempts to talk to him. Not only that, he went straight to bed without even touching the dinner I had prepared. From that day on, our relationship worsened. The fun conversations of the past were gone, and we only communicated on a bare minimum basis. At first, I was sad, but gradually, I began to notice something. My husband is hiding something. If he truly had nothing to hide, There's no need for him to be so flustered. His blatantly cold attitude in the past few days started after I began suspecting him of overtime. If this situation continues, we'll have to have a proper discussion. Just when I was beginning to think about this, a shocking situation arose. One day, when I was thinking about when to have a discussion, he got home from work and casually mentioned,
"Oh, by the way, my mom's been hospitalized."
"What? Your mom? Why all of a sudden?"
"Well, because she's sick."
"But your mom, she was so energetic." As I hurried to call my mother-in-law,
"Wait."
He stopped me. "What?" "I was just about to call your mom." I was briefly taken aback by his loud voice, but I stopped and asked him,
"Mom's really weak now. She's probably not up for phone calls, and it seems she's mentally struggling too, so let's hold off."
"That bad? Then at least let me visit her."
"No, I'll go visit her alone this weekend."
"Alone? Why?"
"Because Mom asked me to."
"Your mom asked?" According to my husband, apparently my mother-in-law is in such a bad state that it's uncertain whether she'll even be up for visits. She doesn't want to show me her weakened state, so she's requested that only my husband visit her. To be honest, I owe a lot to my in-laws, especially my mother-in-law, who's been treating me like her own daughter ever since our marriage was settled. On top of that, she loves to travel and always brings back souvenirs. The house that we're living in now was given to us by her. Apparently, it was originally inherited from her parents and had been vacant for some time. She gave it to us at the time of our marriage. "I have this house that I live in with your father, and it would be a waste if no one lived here," she said, and gave us the house while still retaining the title. She is even still paying the property taxes. I'm worried about my mother-in-law's health, and ideally, I'd like to visit her right away. However, if she prefers only family visits, I should respect her wishes. So, although a bit frustrated, I listened and decided to refrain from visiting her. On Friday night, as scheduled, my husband went to visit my mother-in-law. Her place is only about an hour drive away, but he's planning on staying there until Sunday. Bob was in a good mood that day and seemed a bit giddy.
"Sorry about going alone,"
he said at the front door as he was leaving. "No, it can't be helped. It's what mother-in-law wants."
"My mother's condition could take a turn for the worse at any time, so I'll be on standby at my parents' house until then. I think I'll be back on Sunday night."
"I see. Her condition is that severe."
"Well, just don't call or text her, okay? I don't want her to get upset again."
"I understand. I'll go visit her next time, when her body calms down."
"Okay, I got it. I'm leaving now."
"Yes, take care. It's not that far away, and we could go directly to the hospital from here. I wonder why he needs to stay at his parents' house. But, thanks to that, I can take action." At this time, I sensed that my husband was hiding something, and I planned to investigate while he was away. I might find something if I look at his phone, but he always has his phone on him. So I decided to check his computer that we have at home. After confirming that he had left, I headed to the bedroom where his computer was. I had a good idea of his password, and I was able to get in easily. All right, I need to find something that can serve as a clue. As I was about to open a folder from the desktop, the doorbell rang and I stopped. Who is it? At a time like this, I'm in the middle of an important mission. Still, with my husband away, I have no choice but to respond. I widened my eyes in surprise when I saw the monitor, because the person supposed to be in the hospital, my mother-in-law, was standing there. Mother-in-law? Despite being puzzled by the sight of my energetic mother-in-law on the screen, I opened the front door. Then, mother-in-law said cheerfully, "Long time no see. Mother-in-law, why are you here?" "I came for a surprise today." "A surprise? What are you talking about? Today is your birthday, isn't it, Jessica?" "Ah, now that you mention it. I actually talked it over with Bob first, you know. He told me it'd be a nuisance if I just showed up out of the blue. But I really wanted to celebrate, so I came without telling him." My mother-in-law's words made me realize that today was my birthday. Lately, I've been so preoccupied with my husband that I haven't had any time to think about my own birthday. Amidst all this, my mother-in-law came all the way to celebrate with me. I was simply overjoyed by her consideration. But before that, there was a pressing question that needed to be addressed. Why was my mother-in-law, who was supposed to be in the hospital, here? No matter how I looked at it, she didn't seem seriously ill and appeared to be her usual lively self. I hesitantly asked her, Mother-in-law, are you feeling okay? Feeling okay? As you know, Jessica, being in good health is my forte. But you were supposed to be admitted into the hospital. Upon hearing that, my mother-in-law looked surprised and exclaimed, Admittance to the hospital? Bob told me Mom's going to be hospitalized. I'm going to be hospitalized? What on earth is he talking about? And today, he left the house saying he was going to visit you in the hospital. A visit? But I'm not hospitalized. Yes, he told me you might take a turn for the worse, so he'll be staying at his parents' house until Sunday. Jessica, could you wait a minute? My mother-in-law took out her cell phone and started calling her husband. After a few minutes, she hesitantly began to speak again. I just asked your father, and it seems Bob isn't coming after all, and no one in the family is hospitalized. So Bob was lying after all. After all? What do you mean? Oh, no, it's just... Jessica, you have to tell me. Under the intense gaze of my mother-in-law, I couldn't bear to hold it in any longer, and confessed everything to her. As we investigated his computer together, we found a photo of him and his mistress inside one of the folders. Perhaps fearing that he would be caught if they used iMessage, there were many records of texts with his mistress saved in his email folder. When his infidelity came to light, I was left speechless by the shock. My mother-in-law also seemed to be trembling slightly, perhaps out of anger. From their email exchanges, it was revealed that today was supposed to be a trip with his mistress. I felt no sadness anymore. I was filled with rage. I couldn't believe he would use his family as an alibi for his infidelity. My mother's hospitalized, gonna pay a visit. Cut the crap. I'll never forgive him for lying so casually for the sake of his affair. Determined to get revenge, I called my husband to confirm his infidelity. Hello? Hearing his calm response, I suppressed my anger and asked, Bob, where are you right now?
Huh? I'm visiting Mom at the hospital. Didn't I tell you this morning?
So, you're with mother-in-law right now?
Like I said, yes. Sorry, but I'm in the hospital, so I have to hang up now.
I was convinced my husband was cheating when he straight hung up on me. Now, what should I do? While I was worrying about this, my mother-in-law came up with a great idea. Hey, Jessica, how about moving out? Now that it's come to this. Moving out, you say? This house is under my name. Who lives here and what to do with my house? I have the sole right over this place, not Bob. Mother-in-law? Don't worry. I will always protect you. Thus, as my mother-in-law suggested, I decided to move out. I quickly packed my belongings and ended up staying at my in-laws for the time being. A few days later, I got a call from my husband, who must have just returned from his cheating trip. Hello? Then my husband started grilling me with an incredible intensity.
Hey, Jessica, what's going on here?
What do you mean?
It's the house. Why are your things gone?
Why? Because I moved out.
You moved out? What kind of joke is this?
It's not a joke. Do you know where I am right now? To my perplexed husband, I conveyed the fact. You know where I am. I'm at your parents' home.
Ha! At my parents' home. Why?
Your mother suggested it. She said I'm going to sell that house, so stay here until you find a new one.
Mom? Why?
Yeah, right. In Bob's mind, your mother is in the hospital, isn't she?
So that is...
I told him that my mother-in-law had visited the house, that it was already revealed that my mother-in-law's hospitalization was a lie, and that I already had evidence of his cheating. My husband, realizing that everything's been revealed, started to apologize spontaneously, as if he finally understood the situation he was in.
I'm sorry. I didn't actually have a serious relationship. It was just a fling. Just a fling.
Ha! A fling?
Yes, that's right. The one I love is you, Jessica. I have no intention of getting a divorce, so please, I won't do it anymore, so forgive me.
I'm disgusted with my husband, who easily lines up such convenience phrases. As if to vent all of my resentment, I spat out coldly, "Forgive you? Don't be ridiculous. You even lied that your family was hospitalized and cheated on me. Whether it was serious or not doesn't matter. I'm pissed off that you used your mother to cheat on me."
Jessica, I didn't mean to.
Don't make excuses. The fact that you cheated is real. That won't change. I will never forgive you. I'm going to make you pay alimony. If you understand, never contact me again, you scumbag. After hanging up the phone, I set his contact to block caller. Afterward, my husband paid a visit to his parents' house, but my in-laws promptly showed him the door. He was disowned, cut off from his biological parents. After the divorce was finalized, he rented a low-cost apartment, and I hear he's having a tough time making ends meet. Meanwhile, I enlisted a lawyer to sue him and his mistress for emotional distress. With solid evidence at hand, I managed to get them to pay up. Turns out, his mistress was a newbie at their workplace. The whole office was abuzz with their story, leading the mistress to quit from sheer embarrassment. And my husband has been getting the cold shoulder from his co-workers, too. It's only a matter of time before he quits his job. He's flat broke after paying the emotional distress damages, and I wonder how he's going to survive in his already dire financial situation. I doubt there's a bright future waiting for him. Well, it's none of my business anymore. As for me, I recently managed to move into a new place. When I was leaving my in-laws' home, my mother-in-law said this to me, "Jessica, dear, you're welcome to visit us anytime, okay? I truly appreciate everything you've done for me." "It's all right, dear. You're my precious daughter after all." Mother-in-law, thank you. I may have parted ways with my husband, but my relationship with my mother-in-law is still good. I hope to gradually repay my mother-in-law for her kindness.